All right, Shalom Aleichem, everybody. We're up to Daf Mem Hey in Shevuos. We are in the middle of a Mishnah. Very rare that we stop in the middle of a Mishnah at the end of a Daf. These Mishnayos are super long, and you were saying that what? That you have one Mishnah at the beginning of a parak, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Okay. So we got 6 lines from the top. Mem Hey Amud Aleph. V'hachenveni. That's where we finished yesterday. Oh, we finished before that?
Where's Nichbal?
Oh, you're right. No, forget it.
That's what I had at first.
I'm sorry. I stand corrected. Mem Daled Amud Beis. We are 6 lines. 6 lines from 7 lines from the bottom of Daled Amud Beis. Okay. Nichbal Ketzad. We're in the middle of discussing all the cases. The Mishnah says, "Kol anishboin shabatayr anishboin v'loy meshalmen." They make a Shevuos and they pater themselves, right? If Eid Echad comes against you and says you're chayiv, you make a Shevuos, you're pater. Or you're moed b'miktas, you make a Shevuos, you're pater on the other half, right? That's all the Shevuos min ha-teirah, right? Shomer pikadon, he swears that he wasn't pesheya, it was nignav or nevad, let's say shemachinav, and he's pater. These are all the Shevuos min ha-teirah and nishbon v'lam. But the Chachamim came along, they made a takana that in certain instances, certain cases, you'll have nishboin. Oh, doctor, just in time. My mom is starting now.
It's actually just in time.
Yeah. Nishboin v'noitlin. That's the takanas chachamim. And the Mishnah had a whole list of people who are nishboin v'noitlin. They make a Shevuos and they get paid. Usually Shevuos min ha-Torah is make a Shevuos and you're pater from paying. Here the Toiveya makes the Shevuos and he gets paid. So one of them was nechbal. What does nechbal mean? Ketzad. What does that mean? Adam didn't exactly see that it was chayvel, but they said, look, this guy went into the guy's house, he was shalom, and he came out, and he was beaten up, all right? He had patches all over the place, he had bruises, and a crutch, and the injured guy says to his host, you're the one who harmed me. It wasn't me. So the nechbal, the one who's injured, here in this case, usually min ha-Torah, you're pater, right? At best, you can force the guy to make a Shevuos and he's pater, right? But here, the takana is that the injured guy makes a Shevuos and he gets paid. Rabbi Yoel says, nish tazi schnell, not so fast. Ad shetei miktas eidah. It has to be a case of moed b'miktas. Ketzad, omle chavalta b'shtayim. You hurt me twice. 2 different injuries. I only hurt you once. See, only above the eye, the right eye, that was me. But on your left arm, that was you. That wasn't me. So the moed b'miktas. So usually a moed b'miktas. So the guy, the nitba swears and he's pater. That's min ha-Torah. But midrabanon they said let the nechbal swear and he'll take the other half as well. Shekeneg dechash de la Shevuos. What happens in the case where the nitba who's supposed to swear? Let's say the guy who was moed b'miktas, yeah, he's the nitba. He's only moed on half. The other half he swears usually and he's pater. But what happens if guy is chasher al Shevuos? Achas Shevuos eidus, ve'achas Shevuos apikadon, right? Ve'afilu Shevuos shav. Even if he's just nechshad, because we know that in his reputation, in his history, right? He did a background check on him, and they found, in the history of his background check, they found, he made a Shevuos eidus lasheker. It's a red flag. He made Shevuos eidus lasheker, or Shevuos apikadon lasheker. He's koifer in a pikadon, and he swore that it was nignav and nevat shemachinam and he's pater. He lied. He was pesheya. I feel a Shevuos shav, and even if he made a Shevuos shav, still halacha is he becomes a chasher al Shevuos, and the other guy swears and he takes the money. Echad mehen mesachik bekuvya umalve beribus umafricha yoinem secher shvius. Yeah, we had all this. What do we have in Sanhedrin, right? All these cases, guy is gambling, right? A guy is malva beribus, or mafrich yonim v'seicher shvis. There's also different types of gamblers. Shekenegdo nishba v'noito, and so you can't swear. The malva can't swear. The nitva can't swear. Sorry, the levi can't swear. So therefore, the other guy swears and he takes. What if both are chasher al Shevuos? The nitva and the teveya. So here we have a machlokas. Rabbi Yosi says chazar shvuah l'makayim adiv Rabbi Yosi. He says that we put the Shevuos back on the original guy is supposed to swear, and since he can't swear, he has to pay. Rabbi Meir Omer Yachloiku, since you're both chashudin al Shevuos, so you are you split the money, divide the money.
So these guys, they can't take a Shevuos at all.
Nobody can take a Shevuos. Yes, what do you do? So here, Meir says Yachloiku. Rabbi Yosi says If both guys can't make a Shevuos, so the Shevuah goes back to the original person that was supposed to swear to begin with. And since he can't swear, so the onus is on him. Since he can't swear, he has to pay. Okay, now we have the last halacha in the Mishnah on the list of Nishboin v'Noitlin was the case of Chenveni. Chenveni Alpin Kase, a store owner with his ledger. Kate said, what's the case over there? So the Gemara, the Mishnah says, first I'm going to tell you what the case is not. Loi sheyomer loi, kosev alpin kosi shetachayv l'masayim zuz. Right? Not that the Chenveni says to the Balabayas, right? We still have it here in La Brea Kosher. No, you go and you buy in credit, right? It's you do that? You still do that? No,
but people do that.
Right. Such a The whole word credit is such a scam, right? Because I guess not, but you buy in debt, right? Like you get into that credit card, debt card. What is that? Pinkasoi.
Where you monader from another person and you can't give hanoah, so you send them to a store where the storekeeper knows you, and so the storekeeper will give him something, and then you have
Nedorim. Question is that called having a hanoah from the original guy that you mother from, or it's a roundabout way?
It's not the same lashon.
Same lashon. Chenveni Alpin Kase.
No, it's not the same lashon. Family has markers also. He knows his customers.
Okay.
If you inherit his share, you see this much more.
Yeah.
It's more intense.
Right. Yeah, you hear all these.
Because they rely. There's so many things going on over there.
Yeah.
It's much more multitasking.
Right.
It's hard being a shop owner.
It's hard, right? Why? Because people can't afford and pay, and
people can afford, and how you're going to get them to pay, and you don't want to force them, you don't want to push them.
they need food, or you're gonna not. It's tough.
It is.
That's taka hard.
They told me by the shul. So until he put in the rotating thing, he was losing quite a bit of money.
Why?
That was paid.
People say, I'll pay later. This.
And they never came back to pay.
They would lose more money, so they had to put in the
Cameras.
turnstile.
Which one?
The turnstile. The mikvah.
But yeah. People are good people. They're like Shtemutzik Mishtamatle we had yesterday by Shmoy de B'Miktsas that Rabbi says, guy's not really a Gazlan, he just doesn't have the money right now. So you say, push it off, pay you later. Yeah, and then become sloppy. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a scary thing.
It's a form of chesed where people walk in and say, who owes the most or whatever. Take this amount of money and apply it to this account or whatever account you want to. People pay off other people's accounts and they don't know who they're helping. It's like
wow,
it's a form of,
it's a Matan B'Seser.
That's the highest form.
Matan B'Seser.
You don't know who you're helping, and they don't know who helped them.
You know what's interesting? What's interesting is there's an organization that actually reached out to me. Maybe it was 2 years ago, and last year. They're called Nekicha Payim, where before Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur, you give to that organization just in case maybe you owe somebody money, and you don't know who it is, or you lost contact with them, you can't reach them, and you give them the money, and al pi gdoilei haposkim of our generation, and followed by Rabbanim, they follow Rabbanim's guidance, they invest the money in ways where, I guess, there's tzarchei tzibur, or they use it as gemach, like for loans, so the money that you owe does chesed in the meantime, and you first of all, you get rid of the money. You're right. It's not your money. You don't hold on to it because once you hold on to it, you delay and you never end up paying. So you just give it to that organization. They do mitzvahs with the money. If you find the right owner, then they give it back to you.
Chavetz Chaim did this. His wife ran a store once he learned.
Right.
And because he was afraid maybe there was a few fruits or whatever, he donated money towards the well in the city. And the well was tzarchei tzibur.
This way, he's Meshalem anyone he might owe money. That's what the Gemara says. You do tzarchei tzibur if you can't find the nigzal. Yeah, then amazing. Wow. Yeah, it's a lange Geschichte. You know, I saw a clip from Große Asken, Rabbi Yoel Schwartz, Rabbi Yoel Schwartz. You know who he is? He's a Batchen, he's a Asken, he's a very special guy. Anyway, so everybody's flying to Reb Shaila Kerastir on his yard site. They fly to Hungary. They fly to the Kaver, yeah, to Kerastir. Shaya ben Reb Moshe, Shaya ben Reb Moshe. So he went to you saw that clip? He went to a supermarket and he paid off somebody's account and he started davening. Mama's right there in the aisle by the food. Somebody says, "What are you doing here?" He says, "I took the money that I would have spent on a ticket to fly to Hungary to Kerastir to Reb Shaila, knowing that Reb Shaila's mission was to feed the poor. So I'm davening right here at the aisle in the supermarket, with that money, asking Reb Shaila over here that Reb Schusay should be helped. You know, Hashem should help me." Anyways, so much to talk about in these 3 words. Yeah, and the store owner with his ledger, Ketzad. What's the halacha? What's the case over here? Case of Nishbam v'noitlan lo sheyomer eloi. We're not talking about where the Chenveni says to the Balabais, Kosuv alpen kosi shtchav limsaim zuz. I have in my ledger and your account, you owe me $200. Elo omer loi ten lebonai sasayim chitin ten lepoile selamois. Give my son, right? The Balabais sent his son or his workers to the Chenveni saying, you know, give them, my sons or my workers, give them money or food. Who Aimer, the Chenveni says, I gave it, Nasati. And they say, we didn't take it. So who's right? So the halach is, Hunish b'vanoitel, v'heinish boin v'noitlen. So each one makes a shvuah and each one takes. Oy vavoy. So the Balabais ends up paying twice. The Chenveni and the Poilim, right? Interesting. Over Banana says, no. So both make a shvuah and each one takes? What do you mean? You're going to make them both swear shvuah shav because one of them is for sure wrong. So the kasha is, if one of them is for sure wrong, so why is it elu ve'elu b'aldei shvuah shav? It's only one of them is b'aldei shvuah shav. Why does Banana say elu ve'elu? Only one of them is a liar, right? So they say the Katzka. The Katzka says it doesn't say elu ve'elu b'aldei shvuah sheker. Avada, only one is lying. The other one is not. But since the tachlos of the Shevuah is to come to a birer, ela emes, to come to clarify who it is, so zog the katzker. So elu, both are a Shevuah shav because you're not going to get to the bottom of it with the Shevuah of both of them. So it's not that only one guy is making a Shevuah sheker, but both of them, at the end of the day, since there's no tachlis to the Shevuah, because you don't have any more clarity than before you started, that's why both are Shevuah shav. Ella, so what is it? Banana says, Eitza, Elahu noitel shaloi b'Shevuah, v'hen noitel shaloi. That's a case where nobody swears. You have to shell it out from your own pocket, you have to pay the Chenveni, and you have to pay the Poilim. Just I want to tell you one quick story. One of my favorite mices of Shlomo Freifeld, right? There was a Shiva of Shari Yoshev. So he once walked into a bank, and he was a very big fellow. He was like 6'4", right? You ever saw a picture of him? A video of him? Yeah, big fellow. Walks into the bank, goes over to the teller, and the teller, she tells him, she's like, wow, Rabbi, I've never seen such a big rabbi in my life. He was overpowering. Yeah, he was like, Mom was big. So she looks up his account, she says, there's a note, I can't access your account, there's a note, the manager wants to see you upstairs. So he walks upstairs in the bank, gets upstairs, knocks on the door, the manager's sitting on his leather chair, mahogany desk, and he takes a look at Freifeld, who's like peeking through the door. It's like, Rabbi! Again, your account is overdrawn. What am I going to do with you? So Shlomo Freifeld laughs and he says, when I go downstairs they tell me how big I am. I come upstairs, they tell me my account is overdrawn. Verstehst? Yeah, große covered we give, and then we come upstairs and your account is overdrawn. Big message. But that's Chenveni Alpen Kasser. Says the Heilige Mishnah weiter. You got one? Let's see.
I don't know if you can see it over here.
Oh, yeah. I don't know if you can see how tall he was and how big it was.
Quite, it gets a little
Doesn't get it? Okay. Shkoyach, Raki, the man. Pulling it up right there. Okay. Says the Mishnah weiter, Omar lechen v'niten lebedina peiros, v'nosan loi, Omar loi ten liyois dinner. Yeah? Balabai says to the Chenveni, give me fruits for a dinner. So, and then he tells the Balabayas, the Chenveni gives him the peiros, tells the Balabayas, ten liyois dinner, give me the dinner. Right? You told me, you paid me for the payers that I give you. Omar loy, so the guy says, Nesativ l'cho. I gave it to you already. I paid you. I paid you before you gave me the papers. I put it into your cash register. I put it into the bag of money. I put it into your pouch. Where's the Yishav Balabais Shnas at dinner? Balabais has to swear that he gave him the dinner and he's potter. Omar loy tenli saperis. The Balabais said to the Chenveni, let's say it's the opposite. Where the Balabais says to the Chenveni, you never gave me the papers, I gave you the dinner. Omar loy, the Chenveni says, L'satim l'cha, v'lachtem l'tech v'sech, I sent a delivery to your house. It's mamish, it's at your house already. I gave it to you. And Lamais Balabais says, I never got it. Yeshava Chenveni, that he gave him the papers and he's potter. So the kids over here, each one swears, I guess whichever way the tain is, whoever the teveya is, right? The nitpas swears and he's potter. Rabbi Yehuda Omer, Kol Shah Peiros Biyodoi, Yodoi Alal Yoina. Anyone who has the Peiros, it's Yodoi Alal Yoina. Which means like this, Rabbi Yehuda holds that usually the guy with the merchandise doesn't give it over until you pay him first the money. Right? So Mamela, if the Balabayas has the Peiros already, we assume that he gave the money to Chenveni already, because the Chenveni wouldn't have given him the merchandise before the Balabayas paid him. And if the Chenveni is holding on to the Peiros, must be that he wasn't paid yet, otherwise he would have given over the Peiros. So whoever has the Peiros in his hand, Yodel al Yon, that's the Shita. Okay, a similar parallel case, but now to a Shulchani. Omer Shulchani, the money exchanger. Tenli b'dinner mois, exchange me 4 quarters for $1, let's say. V'nosan loy, the Shulchani gave it to him. Omar loy, so the Balabais says, tell me it's a dinner. So he says to the Balabais, okay, I gave you the 4 quarters, give me the $1. Omar loy, so the Balabais says, I gave you the $1, and Sati ben Poli, I put it into your register. Shava Balabais swears he gave him the $1 and he's potter. No, it's a dinner, the Balabais gave him the $1. Now Omar loy, now he says to the Shulchani, tell us, give me the 4 quarters. Omar loy, Shulchani says, I put it in your pocket. Shava Shulchani, and he's potter. Shulchani swears that he gave him the quarters and he's potter. Yeah, so again, the nitva swears and he's potter. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Ein derech shulchani litin iser at she'itel dinner, right? If you go to a money exchanger, I usually do it at Israel, I don't do it here in America. You go to a money exchanger, right? They don't give you the money before you hand them over the cash. Yeah, you ever went to a money exchanger? The big metal, the big glass bulletproof window, the tiny things, give them first the money and then, right?
They're very picky too.
Yeah, very. So Mamela, this is Rabbi Yehuda saying, Avada, whoever's got the, if you have the quarters, then you can be certain that you gave him the $1. Okay. Yeah. Oh, did I say Gemara? So the Mishnah weiter. Yeah, you forget it. Just like we said, that a woman who comes to the shtar ksuba, and she wants to be goiva the whole ksuba. Let's say the ksuba's Messiahim zuz, right? And she says, he paid up 100, but he still owes me 100. So once she's moida b'miktsas, it's called pegemes ksubasa. Pegemes ksubasa means that she admits that the Baal paid up a partial amount of this ksuba. Now, if she can't rely on the shtar anymore to be goiva the rest, unless she makes a shavuah on the rest. She has to swear on the other 100 because the ksuba is weakened now that she says miktsase perua. Also a case of eidachad neida sheperua, like to parallel b'shvuah. Let's say there's an eidachad going keneged the ksuba saying that it was paid up. Now she has to make a shvuah, right? Or menechasim mishabadim or menichsa yisaimim like to parallel b'shvuah. Menechasim mishabadim menichsa yisaimim like to parallel b'shvuah. Yeah, Mama's just in time for the ksuba case in the Mishnah. Nathan? Right. You're always in time for something, yeah? Yeah, I should have the same patience for my wife. Like when I'm waiting in the car and she's like, I'll be ready in 5 minutes, you know? Like she comes in an hour later. See, just in time for... You can only apply it. It's easier to apply it over here, you know?
Especially when you're on camera.
Yeah, especially when you're on camera. All right, very good. So,
Sound like you're on camera.
yeah, exactly. Oh, there you go. To live with that. Imagine a person living in the Yerushalayim, like there's a camera me all the time. You know, it's amazing. Amazing. I wish.
Some people have a camera then.
Chaim says that's why we have technology today to be mamchish what it means that everything is being recorded.
That's why. If you're like a politician, you have to be careful about everything you say because someone's going to be recording you at all times.
That's right. That's right.
There you go.
Well, the new age politicians. I think now the fad
Just
is.
Trump.
Okay, weiter.
Even he's got to wiggle around.
Yeah. Again, if she's being goiva from the chasim shabadim, or if let's say lakuchos or yisoimim, she has to make a shvuah before she's goiva the ksuba. Also, let's say the isha is goiva the ksuba, sheloi b'fnei abal, like the paral b'shvuah. She has to make a shvuah before she's goiva. And also, yisoimim also have to, when they, let's say, the yisoimei hamalva are being goiva from the yisoimei haloiva. We have a bunch of orphans over here. Right? The orphans of the lender go to the orphans of the borrower. They say that your father borrowed money from our father and you owe us money. So the halacha is they have to make a shvuah. Shvuah, what do they say? Shvuah shaloi pikadonu abba, that our father didn't tell us b'shas misa anything. V'loi omer lanu abba shlo metzinu ben shtreisef shel abba sheshtar zeparua. We didn't find a receipt in the documents of our father that this shtar is parua. So if they show up with a shtar choiv, the yisoimei malva, the orphans of the lender show up with a shtar choiv that they found in their father's office, and they come to the loiva, the yisoimei loiva, and they say, listen, pay up. Your father owed our father money. So they have to make a shvuah that they know nothing about any payment. There was no receipt that they found, nothing. They make a shvuah. Even if the ben was noiled after the Misa Samalva, in other words, he wasn't even alive at the time his father was alive. Yeah, I guess. Now we see that tragedy happen one too many times when we're at war. Yeah.
My neighbor was literally nipped during battle, and then however months later, his wife had
a baby, a baby son, a bris. Yeah.
He was at the wall.
Yeah. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah. For a little bit after the war, I started doing Mishnah for Neshama. We started documenting soldiers. Just a brief bio, and the mission at the end, the Ilu Nishmasai. And I did it. After 12, I couldn't do it anymore because I had to do the research on them. It took such an emotional toll on me. I couldn't continue. But actually, one of the videos we did also was that story where there was a bris right after he was killed.
That was my neighbor.
There are a few stories. I'm not sure if that's the story, but yeah.
The
early ones, yeah.
It was the first battle.
Yeah, the first battle, yes.
My neighbor is fine.
He was a chashva guy. He was also a top, wasn't just a soldier.
Yeah.
When it's a mail with a phone to the Mila,
That's what Douglas Murray said. They asked him about the book he wrote.
No, he was killed in action.
I just wrote a book about Israel death cults. It's not called something. So people used to tell me, this book is so depressing to read.
Yeah.
How did you do it? He said, try writing it.
Yeah, no.
Try writing it, yeah. Unbelievable.
Yeah. It's a line.
Yeah. Rabbi Yochanan, the son is born after the father dies. I raise a nishba v'noitel. He swears that he didn't find the receipt in any of the files of his father's file cabinet, and then he is able to be goy v'dechayv. If they're Eidim, b'shas misa'av, they heard the father say that this shtar is taka not paid, then unoitel shloi b'shvar, then doesn't have to swear. You have Eidim. Okay. Ve'eilun ishban shloi b'taina. Here we have a list of people who don't have to swear or don't have to have a tain of adois. They swear even if they're not sure. They don't come with a definitive claim against you, but they have a suffix. Whether you paid or you might have cheated them, then they swear and you have to pay. One of these cases, ashutfin partners. One partner is choshed the other. So he's not sure, right? There's red flags. He says, swear to me that you didn't cheat or you didn't take more than your share. Varisin. Aris is like a shutuf, right? Aris is mechza shlish v'levia. He works the field and he takes a certain percentage. Va'petrapin. And those who are petrapin, let's say people who are managers on the Bailam's money or Simon's money, the Isha knows the Chabais, even the wife, right? You told me the Chavetz Chaim's wife, she managed the store. Oh, so yeah, even the wife. Yeah, Uben Abayis, or let's say one of the brothers is taking care of the Yerusha on behalf of the entire family. So Omar Loi, and one of the brothers, or let's say the husband, or the owner, or the Shutef, or the Balabayis says, Mo'ata Toineni, yeah. So a guy says to him, what do you want from me? So the Teveh says, "Ritzoni shetishavali." I want you to swear that you didn't take more than your shiur. I'm choisher, I'm suspicious that you might have been cheating. The halacha is chayiv, then the nitba, right, the shutif, the oris, the apatrapin, they are chayiv to make a shavua, even though the Teveya is not making a definitive claim. He doesn't have proof 100%, he just has a feeling. That's enough to be mechayiv the other guy a shavua. There is a cheskes kashrus, yeah, but this is part of the kanas chachamim, I guess.
He's being pointed at his integrity. So he doesn't have to have a basis for accusing him.
Right, yeah.
Someone can just come along.
Yeah,
I suspect you're down.
Yeah.
There's no proof.
Yeah, without any proof, right.
Come to anybody in the street and
Yeah.
say, you may owe me $200.
We had a similar halacha, I'm just reminded as you're saying it, we had a similar halacha earlier in the Masechta, where we talked about dayanim. The halacha was that if a dayan hears the tainus of both balei dinim, and he has a gut feeling that even though he can't find a hole with their tainus al pi halachi, he's looking up sfarim, tshuvas sfarim, shulchan aruch, Choshen Mishpat, he's trying to find, can't find it, but his gut feeling is this is a sham, a scam, somebody's lying. The halacha is he's not allowed to paskin. He has to remove himself from the case, even though what?
It's similar to Shida the Dayan.
Right. So here.
Shida is a special gift we give to the Dayanim, that they have a certain das, that they have an extrasensory type feeling that they can.
Right.
It's too
So here, it could be that the gut feeling isn't so much that they're stealing outright, but it could be they rationalize. A lot of people, when they're in that position, there's a lot of rationalizations going on. I'm anyways taking care of it. They won't mind. I deserve extra privileges. I can cut some corners. Look how much I'm working. Look how much I'm doing. Especially a brother taking care of all the nechasim on behalf of the entire family. He's doing all the work. It's like I should get a. I don't think people are evil. People are bad. It's just the moira haterim that people come up with. They rationalize, and that's why a guy says, "Look, there's something off. You must make a shvuah." And people know they can make a shvuah. Now they're they rethink their actions.
Something doesn't smell good.
Huh?
You're saying something doesn't smell good.
Yeah, and it doesn't. Yes, about chesed kashrus. I'm not sure. First of all, something doesn't smell. Not smelling something we see is also something, and
But making them take a shvuah though.
yeah.
It has to be a threshold where you don't need a.
Yeah, it's bothering you. I hear that. I hear why that bothers you. Could be the Gemara's going to talk about it. I haven't seen it yet, but let's see. What are you saying, Nathan?
Isn't the oldest son allowed to have like a bonus type of situation?
Double?
Yeah, not necessarily double, but double in inheritance, but also double in it's allowed to have fancier.
The Mishnah says, that is true. That is true. Yeah, and Yesh Noichel we learned about this. Yeah, that this guy does if he needs it for the business to thrive in the business. He has to show up with a Jaguar to the meeting or to a Rolls Royce to impress everybody to make the deal. You what? But see, there's rationalizations going on over here. Yeah, I need it for the best,
That's a great tip.
I found the thing of my neighbor.
Roll it in the Jaguar.
I found my neighbor, by the way. This is my neighbor.
What's his name?
His name was Yedidi Eliyahu.
Wow.
His wife was Meta. She gave birth 3 months after he was killed
We get. Wow. Okay, so the Gemara says, came just in time for the Gemara. We're about to start the Gemara. Okay. Says the Gemara, says the Mishnah, we're about to finish the Mishnah, we're about to start the Gemara. Chayev. Gemara says, Cholku ashutfim v'harisin, if they already split it, in other words, each one took their chelik, and now you want to make him swear after the money was divided, ein yochel hashbiyai, this galgal yeshua makam acher, but if you had a legitimate reason to make him swear, then the galgal of zakol, then you can also roll on this shvuah, even though it was already divided. Says the Mishnah at the end, V'ashvius meshametes es hashvuah. You should know that anyone is mechuyev a shvuah, machmas hachoiv, Once Shemitah comes, so it dissolves the chayv, and just like it dissolves the chayv, it also dissolves the shvuah. Okay, we're about to start. You guys just came just in time for the Gemara on Memhemet Aleph. It's kol nishboin shebatayra nishboin v'loy mishalmin. How do I know that every shvuah in the Torah? Give me an example of shvuah satayra. You know an example of shvuah satayra? In a case where somebody have to make a shvuah min atayra. Yeah, what would be an example? Not all at once. Shout out one, huh? Shevuos HaShoimrim. A saita, very interesting. But it's not a monetary case. We're talking about a Choshen Mishpat case. Very good. Come on, don't give up. What?
Sure that you owe me money.
Shavua that you owe me money.
Or that you don't owe money.
Or that you don't owe me money.
One or the other, whatever you say.
Right, okay, yeah. That's not a Shavua Shabbatayra though, because if my koifer akoil, that's not a Shavua Shabbatayra. What's a Shavua Shabbatayra? What would be a case, Choshen Mishpat case, where you have to make a Shavua min atayra? You ever heard of Moed B'Miktsas? Yeah, if like I say, you owe me 100, you admit to 50, now you have to swear in the other 50, you don't owe me the other 50. Shvuos Adiyanim, right? You have a case of Shvuos Eidechad. Let's say you owe me $100. Echad is also true. But then I have an Eidechad that you owe me $100. You need two Eidim to be able to be Moitzi Mom. And only have one, Shvuos Eidechad, Shvuos Apikoden, right? So you have all these cases. Every Shvuos Shabbat Torah is Nishboin V'loy Meshalman. Minolan, how do I know that a Shvuos in the Torah is Nishboin V'loy Meshalman? You swear in your potter. The Om HaKra, it says in the Pasuk, the lokach ba'olav v'lo yishalem. Yeah, the ba'olav takes the Shevuos HaShomer v'lo yishalem. The shomer doesn't pay. Misha'olav l'shalem lo yishvuah. In other words, the one who should pay, he just makes the Shevuah and he's potter. What?
How many questions in Shas do you have that are so long?
Very few. Yeah, I haven't gone through Shas. At the end of the cycle, the Daf Yomi cycle, I'll be able to answer that question. But Rocky could probably answer that question already based on he remembers all of it.
No. The reason that it's long is because it's all the Mishnayos in the Perek just compiled over there. That's why.
It sounds like a Gemara give and take over here.
No, the Gemara
just don't explain.
No, instead of going like Mishnah, chiluk of the Mishnah here, one Mishnah here, one Mishnah there, one Mishnah there, just puts all the Mishnayos out there and just goes part by part.
Ve'elu nishboin v'noitlan. So the Mishnah said a whole list of people who instead of making a Shavua and are putter, the other guy makes the Shavua and charges the credit card. Maishna Sachir, why is Sachir? Why an employee? One of the cases was an employee tells the Bezdin, the employer never paid me. So usually the employer would swear and be putter. But here, the Sachir swears and he takes the money. Why? Maishna Sachir. Why is Sachir different? The Tekin lo Rabbanim B'Shtabav V'Shakol. Shmuel halachas gedolos shanu kan. These halachas are very gigantic halachas, great halachas. The Gemara assumes halachas mean halach lavesh b'sinai. What is halachas? Hani hilchasinenu. These are halach lavesh b'sinai. Takanas chachamim came much later. Elaim takanas gedolos shanu kan. No, these are great enactments. Takanas chachamim. Asks the Gemara, gedolos mechlal dikiktanas. I don't know of a small takanas chachamim. All of them are great. What do you mean gedolos versus ktanas? Yeah. Ooh, these are established takanas, which means what? That they're so established that the Chachamim came along and they uprooted the din Torah. Minat Torah, the nitba swears and he's pater. By a Sachir, they uprooted that halacha, and the Teveya, which is the employee, swears and he takes the money. So that's called takanas kavua shanukan. Akrua rabban l'shvuah balabayis. They uprooted the shvuah min Torah that's on the balabayis. He would usually swear and be pater v'shaviu asachir, and they gave it to the sachir to get paid. You know why? What's the takana? B'shem k'dei chayav. He needs to go home at night to feed his family, to pay bills, right? So if the guy tells you didn't pay me, it means he's walking home with an empty pocket, right? And Chachamim didn't want that employees should be coming home and not be able to pay bills. So they said, you know what? Instead of the employer doing the usual shvuah and pattering himself from paying, we're going to make the employees swear. This way he walks home with a paycheck because he needs it for K'dei Chayev. Gemara says, K'dei Chayev, the Sachar Katzin L'Balabais. Why? Because you need a paycheck, so that's why you're going to cancel me and take away my shvuah? Maybe I'm telling the truth. Yeah, because you need a paycheck, so we have Rachmanis, so we're going to take away my shvuah, which I have minat Torah. Right? The Torah says I could swear and be pater. Right? You can take it away just because you want to do a favor to somebody else. It's unfair, right? Just because you want to give tzedakah, give tzedakah, but don't uproot the din, the halacha, the rights that I have to go and do a favor to somebody else. Gemara says, no. It's not really going against the balabayas so much. The psychology of the balabayas is he wants the sacher, the employee, to swear, and he wants to pay him. You know why? You know why? Because if this sacher goes home empty-handed, I swear, then nobody's going to work. Nobody's going to want to work for him. Reputation. Yeah, this sacher is going to post on Instagram. He's going to post on social media saying, "Don't work for this guy, a thief." Yeah, alert, red alert. Yeah, don't work for Pliny Almighty because he gyps people. He doesn't pay. So the Balabayas, look, if the employee wants to save his friends from a bad employer, right? It could be there's a terelis. Yeah, like if the guy Taka didn't pay, so the Balabai says Nichale. He says, you know what? I'll just give him an extra check. I'd rather, but let him swear. Let him swear, and I'll pay him. The Balabai himself is Nichale. Mar says, That's where the Chachamim enacted this takana because they understood the psychology of the Balabayas is he doesn't mind, he won't mind if we take a shvuah away, we put it on the sacher. Sacher will swear, and the Balabayas is ready to pay. What is that?
We find them a shas when it comes to loan also. We want people to borrow things.
Yeah. Yeah, a similar concept. Yeah, very good. In other words, we find such concepts where Chazal made takanas, to make sure that the doors stay open. In halva, in schiras, and employers. Very good. Yeah, it goes smoothly. Adrab asks the Gemara. Adrab socher nichaled l'shtabel. What do you mean? The reputation only goes one way. The reputation goes both ways. Because the socher should also want the balabais to swear, and v'nifka, and he will lose that paycheck. You know why? Because this balabais is going to post on his social media account, don't hire this employee because he's going to claim afterwards he didn't pay him, and then you're going to have to pay him. So the Gemara says, no, balabais la korche agar. Balabais is desperate. Usually the employer is always looking to hire. Right? So Mela, he's gonna anyways hire. People are gonna hire regardless. Gemara says, really? Balabais is gonna hire because he needs the job done. Sacher namel korchen midgar. Sacher also is going to people are gonna hire themselves out to any employer if they don't have a job because they need to make a living. So also there's al karche there too. Elo says the Gemara, you know why we took the Shevuos away from the Balabais and we gave it to the employee? I'll tell you why, a different reason. Usually a business owner is hugely busy, very busy, right? And sometimes he forgets to pay. He thinks he paid, right? He thinks he signed the checks, and he's like, I paid you already, didn't I? I don't know if you ever had that. Any business owners here? Or guy, didn't I pay you? Like you're busy, you don't remember. So Mela, the Chachamim said that you're right. Minat Torah, the halach is the Balabais swears and he's potter. But since the Balabais owns a business and he's busy all day, so he might make a mistake, and when he swears, he's going to believe that he taka paid. So we're going to make the sacher, the employee, swear that he never received the paycheck, because he's not as busy. Yeah, he's just focused on one job. The Balabais has to run a whole business, and if he didn't receive it, he'll swear and he'll take the Shevuos hanoitlan. The Gemara says, Abazav, the Balabais is busy, and he's liable to make a mistake. Why should the sacher make even a shvuah? Let the sacher, the employee, just say, you didn't pay me, we'll believe him. Why does he have to make a shvuah? No, not so fast. Because the lahaf is daita shabalabais. Because the balabais is not going to feel comfortable if you don't make a shvuah. Yeah? He's going to think you're gypping him, you're cheating him. So that's it. Gemara asks, so why did the Chachamim take away the shvuah of the balabais and give it to the sacher? Because of this, let them do a different takana. You know what they could have done? They could have done the takana that you should only pay be'edim, so you'll always have proof from edim. Right? Don't give a paycheck without edim. That should have been the takana. This way you avoid any confusion, any debates, any dentires in the future. Also, yeah, that's too hard. Every time I give you a paycheck, I have to find two people to give it to you in front of. Chab said, no, that's too hard. We'll rather do a shvuah, and that's easier. Gemara says, I have another way we can solve the issue to begin with, right? Let him pay him from the onset. Let him give him the paycheck at the beginning, right? Not at the end, right? Before the job starts, pay the contractor, pay this. Before you get busy, pay it at the beginning. So he says, no, not so fast. Shneim roitzim ba'kafa. First of all, the balabais doesn't have the money right away, right? He wants time. As you do the job, he'll come up with the money, right? Usually when you hire somebody, you hope you have the money to pay, right? I hope you have the money when you hire somebody. But usually, I'm getting it, I'm coming. The transfer is coming through. It doesn't come through. Okay. And then the employee also wants ba'kafa. You know why? He doesn't want to spend the money on the job. He wants to get the money at the end. This way he knows he goes home with a paycheck. If you give them the money at the beginning, you might spend it before you. What?
They might not come back.
Yeah, or what?
They might not come back.
Ah,
They won't do the job.
that's okay. That's another.
All they want to.
More comments.
Okay.
Yeah, the neighbor just take it walk away.
Let's say what.
Yeah. They
knew you.
money up front.
Okay, let's go weiter. If the Chachamim took the Shevuos away from the Balabayas and gave it to the employee, to the Sachir, so afilu katzatz nami, why, when there's a vikuach, not whether you paid him or not. There's another vikuach. Let's say, what's a very popular, very common argument amongst employers and employees? What the price was, right? What the original price? What do we agree? What do we agree on? Right? Allah matanya uman omer shtayim katzatzte v'lo melekzad l'chol achas mitzukay l'varaya. Why do we say the Balabayas is right? In the case the Balabais says I only hired you for 100, and the guy says no, you promised me 200. How much mitzukay l'varaya? Say the same idea. Balabais forgot. He's busy. But Sachir is right. The employee is usually right. Whereas there's no k'tzitzav ad mitkadachile. You know, people remember how much they promised. That they'll remember. You know what we agreed upon. That's usually remembered. So Mamela, we believe the Sachir, we believe the employer on that. So even if it's past due, then also we should believe the Balabayas. Once Aversmanoi and the Sachir tainas that you didn't give him, so there the Balabayas eino nishba v'noitel. We don't say the Sachir swears and takes. Why not? The Balabayas is busy. So who cares if it's 3 weeks past the due date, right? If it's 3 weeks past the due date, we say that the employee doesn't swear and take. No, we don't give him that privilege. It's only if it's mamish right now that you just finished a job. What's the difference? Once it's past due date, so now there's already a mitzvah of the balabais to pay you on time, so we assume Itaka paid you. Because chazaka, a balabais will now be over Isser Deraisa Baltolan. Right? It's a lav. Like Solim Pulasachar, yeah. What do you mean? He's not doing it intentionally. He's saying he's busy, so he forgot. Gemara says no. Once he has to pay, then Avadi is not so busy because he has that Isser Torah on his head. Gemara says, what do you mean? The Sachir, you think the Sachir is going to be over on Baltigzoil? Just like the Balabai is not over on Baltol, and that's why you could assume say he's telling the truth. Sachir is also not going to be able to be over on Baltigzoil. So maybe he should tell the truth. Assume that he tells the truth. So the Gemara, no, Balabai is Ikatrei Chazaka, Chod Dei Balabai is over Baltolan, the Chod Dei Sachir Mashas Chare. There's two Chazakas. Number one, the Balabai says one Chazaka that isn't only over Baltolan, so he for sure paid you. And the other is, Ein Sachir Mashas Chare. There's a Chazaka that if you owe somebody money, the guy's going to come on time and demand that you pay. So there are two chazakas in favor of the balabayas. So once it's past due, we believe the balabayas over the employee because he has two chazakas on his side versus the sachar, the employee only has the chazaka of eino oivim mishum batigzo. Okay, we'll continue tomorrow. Mi'etz Hashem. We didn't get through the entire daf, but we'll make up for tomorrow. Okay.